Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so happy you're here with us today.
Today, we're diving into something really important for all English learners: daily mind training for English fluency. Julia, can you tell us why mind training is such a big deal?
Absolutely, Jason. When we talk about mind training, we mean training your brain and your mindset every day to help you become more confident and fluent in English. It's not just about learning grammar or vocabulary. It's about preparing your mind to think in English naturally.
That's right. Often, learners focus a lot on memorizing words and rules, but forget how powerful their mindset is in helping them speak English smoothly. If your mind isn't trained well, even knowing the language doesn't always translate to fluent speaking.
Exactly. So in today's episode, we'll share practical daily mental exercises, tips to overcome mental blocks, and simple routines you can follow to train your mind for better English every single day.
We'll also talk about visualization, mindfulness, and positive habits that can make a huge difference in your fluency journey. So whether you're a beginner or have been learning English for a while, this episode is for you.
We're excited to share these ideas with you, so let's get started.
All right, Julia, so we just talked about how important mind training is for English fluency. But what exactly is mind training? Can you explain that to our listeners?
Great question, Jason. Mind training is basically the process of training your brain to think, focus, and behave in ways that help you learn English better. It's like exercising your mind every day so it gets stronger and faster at processing the language.
So it's more than just studying grammar or vocabulary. It's about training how your brain works, right?
Exactly. Think of it like this. When you learn a new sport, you don't just watch videos or read about it, you practice daily. Your brain and body get used to the movements. Mind training for English is similar. You practice thinking in English, focusing on English, and managing your emotions about learning.
That makes sense. So what kind of things does mind training include?
There are a few key parts. First is mindset, believing that you can improve your English with effort and time. That's called a growth mindset. Then, there's focus, training your brain to concentrate on English learning without getting distracted. Also, it includes mental habits like staying positive, being patient with yourself, and practicing regularly.
Sounds powerful. Can you give an example of a simple mind training exercise?
Sure. One easy exercise is called positive self-talk. It means telling yourself things like, "I'm getting better every day," or "I can speak English confidently." Saying these out loud or thinking them helps your brain believe in your ability. Over time, this boosts your confidence and fluency.
I like that. So it's not just about knowledge, but also about training how you feel about speaking English.
Exactly. Another example is visualization, imagining yourself having a smooth conversation in English before it happens. This mental rehearsal helps your brain prepare and reduces anxiety.
I see. So, mind training is really about shaping your thoughts and feelings to support your English learning journey.
Yes, and the good news is that anyone can do it. Just like physical training, you need to do it every day, even a few minutes, to see real results.
Perfect. I'm excited to share more specific daily habits and exercises for mind training in the next part of the episode.
Me too, Jason. Let's keep going.
All right, Julia. Now that we know what mind training is, let's talk about daily habits. What are some daily mind training habits our listeners can start doing right away to improve their English fluency?
Great topic, Jason. Developing small daily habits is key because consistency is what really builds fluency. Here are some powerful daily habits that train your mind for English.
Awesome. I'm ready. What's first?
First, start your day with morning affirmations in English. It's simple, but very effective. Just say positive statements like, I am improving my English every day, or I speak English confidently and clearly. This sets a positive mindset right at the start of your day.
I like that. It's like telling your brain what to expect and believe. What's next?
Next, try mental rehearsal of conversations. Before going to work, school, or any situation where you might speak English, spend a few minutes imagining the conversation. Picture yourself understanding, responding well, and feeling calm.
So you mentally practice the conversation even before it happens. That must reduce nervousness, right?
Exactly. Your brain gets used to the idea of speaking English confidently. It makes the actual conversation easier.
Cool. What's another habit?
Another important one is listening and shadowing practice. Listen to a short audio clip in English, then try to repeat or shadow what you hear immediately after. This trains your brain to recognize sounds and improves pronunciation and rhythm.
I've heard about shadowing. It's like copying a native speaker's speech as closely as possible, right?
Yes, it's great for tuning your mind and mouth to natural English patterns.
Got it. What else can listeners do daily?
Setting daily goals is very helpful. Even small goals like, today, I will learn 5 new words, or I will speak English for 10 minutes. These goals focus your mind and give you clear targets.
That's smart. When you have goals, your brain knows what to work on, and you feel motivated.
Exactly. Another habit is to read or watch something in English every day, even for 5 to 10 minutes. It trains your brain to understand new vocabulary and sentence structures naturally.
I think the key here is that all these habits don't take too long but add up to big improvements over time.
Yes, the brain loves repetition and consistency. These small daily exercises create strong mental pathways that help your English become fluent and automatic.
That's fantastic. For busy people, it's encouraging to know that even a few minutes of focused mind training every day can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Start small, stay consistent, and your fluency will improve step by step.
Thanks, Julia. Up next, we'll talk about how to overcome mental blocks and negative thoughts, which can be a big challenge for learners.
Yes, that's a very important topic. Stay with us.
Julia, we've talked a lot about positive habits, but I know many learners struggle with mental blocks and negative thoughts. Can you explain what these mental blocks are?
Sure, Jason. Mental blocks are those feelings of fear, self-doubt, or anxiety that stop learners from speaking or practicing English. They make people worry about making mistakes or sounding silly, which can slow down progress.
Yeah, I think a lot of learners get stuck because they're afraid of making mistakes or not being perfect. That fear can be really paralyzing.
Exactly. And those negative thoughts like, I'm not good enough or I'll never be fluent, can become self-fulfilling. They affect your confidence and motivation.
So, what are some effective ways to overcome these mental blocks?
There are several powerful techniques. One is mindfulness, paying attention to your thoughts without judgment. When a negative thought comes, you notice it but don't get caught up in it. This helps reduce anxiety.
Can you give an example of a mindfulness exercise for learners?
Sure, try this. When you feel nervous before speaking English, take a few deep breaths and silently say, "It's okay to feel nervous. I'm learning and improving." This simple practice brings your focus to the present moment and calms your mind.
That sounds very practical. What about changing negative self-talk?
Yes, that's really important. Replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations like, mistakes are part of learning, or I get better every day. Repeating these affirmations trains your brain to think more positively.
I imagine being patient with yourself is also part of this process.
Absolutely. Learning a language takes time, and it's important to celebrate small wins instead of focusing only on what's difficult.
What role does persistence play in overcoming mental blocks?
Persistence is key. Sometimes your mind will tell you to give up, but if you keep practicing and push through discomfort, your confidence grows. Over time, those mental blocks lose their power.
That's really encouraging, Julia. Do you think keeping a gratitude journal can help?
Definitely. Writing down things you're grateful for, like small progress moments or kind people who support you, shifts your mindset to positivity. It makes you more resilient against negative thoughts.
Great advice. So, mindfulness, positive affirmations, patience, persistence, and gratitude all work together to help learners overcome mental blocks.
Exactly, Jason. And remember, it's normal to face these blocks. What matters is how you respond to them.
Thanks, Julia. Up next, we'll dive into visualization and imagination techniques to train your mind for fluency. Stay tuned. Julia, earlier you mentioned visualization as part of mind training. Can you explain what visualization is and how it helps with English fluency?
Of course, Jason. Visualization is a mental technique where you imagine yourself succeeding in English, like having a smooth conversation, understanding others easily, or giving a confident presentation.
So it's like creating a mental movie of yourself speaking English fluently?
Exactly. When you picture yourself speaking confidently, your brain starts to believe it's possible. This mental practice prepares you emotionally and mentally for real-life situations.
That sounds powerful. How can learners use visualization every day?
It's simple. Spend a few minutes each day imagining a specific English-speaking scenario. For example, imagine ordering food at a restaurant, chatting with a friend, or answering questions in class. Picture yourself speaking clearly, smiling, and feeling calm.
Does this technique help reduce anxiety too?
Definitely. Visualization creates a sense of familiarity and reduces fear because your brain treats imagined practice almost like real experience.
Are there other imagination exercises learners can try?
Yes, you can combine visualization with positive emotions. Imagine the joy of understanding a movie without subtitles or the pride of completing a conversation successfully.
So connecting positive feelings with the images makes the mind training stronger?
Exactly. The brain remembers emotions strongly, so positive feelings linked to your English goals make it easier to stay motivated.
That's great. Any tips for beginners who might find visualization challenging?
Start small. Even imagining just one sentence or phrase in English is helpful. Over time, as you get more comfortable, you can visualize longer conversations.
Thanks, Julia. Visualization sounds like a fun and effective way to train your mind for fluency.
It really is. In our next segment, we'll discuss mindfulness and meditation techniques to calm your mind and improve focus. Don't miss it.
Julia, we often hear about mindfulness and how it helps in many areas of life. But how exactly does mindfulness help with learning English?
Great question, Jason. Mindfulness helps you stay present and fully focused on what you're doing. When learning English, it means paying close attention to the words, sounds, and meaning without distractions.
So it's about training your brain to avoid getting lost in thoughts or worries while studying or speaking?
Exactly. For example, if you're practicing speaking, mindfulness helps you notice how you form sounds or use grammar, so you can improve more effectively.
That sounds really useful. Can you share a simple mindfulness exercise our listeners can try?
Sure, here's a quick one. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and focus on your breathing. Breathe in slowly through your nose and out through your mouth. When your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back to your breath.
How long should someone do this?
Even just 2 to 3 minutes a day can make a difference. This practice trains your brain to focus and calm down, which helps you learn English more efficiently.
Awesome. Any other tips for improving focus during English practice?
Yes, try breaking your study time into short sessions like 20 minutes and take breaks in between. Also, remove distractions, turn off your phone or find a quiet space. This helps your mind fully engage with English.
Those are great tips. Staying mindful and focused really sounds like a game changer for learners.
It is, Jason. Mindfulness not only improves learning but also reduces anxiety so you can enjoy speaking English more.
Thanks, Julia. Up next, we'll talk about building positive habits for long-term success. Stay tuned. Julia, we've talked a lot about daily habits and mind training. But how important is it to track your progress when learning English?
It's super important, Jason. Tracking your progress helps you see how far you've come, which boosts your motivation and confidence.
That makes sense. Sometimes when you're learning, it feels like you're not improving, even if you actually are.
Exactly. Keeping a simple journal or checklist of what you practice every day, like new words learned or minutes spent speaking, makes your progress visible.
And I guess celebrating small wins along the way is part of the mental rewards?
Yes, giving yourself mental rewards like saying, "well done," or treating yourself to a small break creates positive feelings. This reinforces your good habits and keeps your brain motivated.
So tracking progress is not just about numbers, but also about celebrating the journey.
Exactly. It helps you stay positive and focused on your goals.
Great advice, Julia. Up next, we'll wrap up with some final tips to keep your mind training strong. Don't go away. All right, Julia. Now it's time to answer some common questions we get from our listeners about daily mind training for English fluency.
Yes, these questions really show what learners are curious or worried about, so let's get to them.
First question. How long does it take to see results from mind training?
Great question. It really depends on how consistent you are, but many learners notice small improvements in just a few weeks. The key is daily practice. Even 10 minutes every day adds up.
Second question. What if I don't have much time? Can just a few minutes help?
Absolutely. Even short, focused sessions work well. The brain benefits from regular, consistent training, no matter how brief.
Another question we hear is, what if I feel nervous or stuck during practice?
That's normal. Remember to be patient with yourself. Use techniques like deep breathing or positive affirmations to calm your mind and keep going.
Last question for today. Can mind training work if I'm not in an English-speaking country?
Definitely. Mind training is about what happens inside your mind so you can practice anywhere, anytime. Using visualization, listening, and daily habits helps no matter where you are.
Thanks for those helpful answers, Julia. If listeners have more questions, they can always reach out to us.
Yes, we love hearing from you. Keep practicing and stay positive.
All right. Coming up next is our wrap-up with final tips and motivation. Stay with us. Julia, we've covered a lot today about daily mind training for English fluency. Can you quickly summarize the key points for our listeners?
Sure, Jason. Remember these main ideas. Practice daily habits like affirmations and shadowing. Overcome mental blocks with mindfulness and positive self-talk. Use visualization to imagine success. And track your progress with mental rewards.
That's a great summary. And what final advice would you give to keep learners motivated?
Stay patient and consistent. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Celebrate your small wins, believe in yourself, and keep training your mind every day. You'll see amazing progress.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Julia. And thank you all for listening. Keep practicing, stay positive, and we'll see you next time on the English Learning Podcast. Well, Julia, that wraps up our episode on daily mind training for English fluency. I hope our listeners found it useful and inspiring.
Absolutely, Jason. Remember, it's all about consistency and mindset. Keep practicing every day and you'll get closer to your English goals.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends who are also learning English.
And if you have any questions or topics you want us to cover, please leave a comment or reach out on our social media.
Thanks again for joining us. Keep training your mind and stay confident with your English.
See you next time on the English Learning Podcast.